You're watching the Ken Wregget and Friends show, of course, brought to you by YinzAreCrazy.com, the Yins Are Crazy podcast, and YouTube. Just type this in, Yins Are Crazy, and subscribe to us. You'll find other episodes of the Ken Wregget and Friends show where we've had terrific guests. Ryan Malone, Dave Hansen from Slapshot, Troy Loney just last week. And Ken, we have another terrific guest for the viewers this week, don't we?
We do. We have Brianne McLaughlin, a women Olympic silver medalist, two-time local gal. She's going to come talk to us a little bit about the Olympics and her experience just before the Olympics start off for us in real life, and we're very lucky to have her with us.
Yeah, she had an incredibly decorated Division I career, local gal, played at Robert Morris from 2006 to 2009. Dominated, literally one of the best goaltenders in Division I history, male or female, and I am not kidding when I say that. We're going to get into her interview in just a minute here. But first, of course, I want to mention 31 Sports Bar and Grill. Couldn't do this without them. They got the great Wregget jersey in the background. Ken, tell us a little about what you got going on these next few weeks. What's good on the menu? Any specials, anything like that?
You betcha. This week, I think we're featuring burgers. We have the best burgers, some of the best burgers in town. Come on out and try them out. You'll love them. Come watch the Penguins games, the Olympics this month at the newly renovated dining room. You never know who you're going to bump into. Sometimes you got a couple of alumni guys around. And as well, we can also cater your next event. Give us a call. Give Nicole a call here in the bar, and be happy to help you out. And we have live music as always, local bands, and daily specials. So come on out and enjoy yourself and have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't run into anyone else, you're probably bound to run into Ken Wregget, and that should be more than enough, which is awesome. And of course, we're always happy that you guys are on our side as well. All right, as Ken said, what better time to talk to somebody who's won 2 silver medals, also has coached in the Winter Olympics for the women's team. It's Brianne McLaughlin-Bittle right here on the Ken Wregget and Friends show, brought to you by Yins Are Crazy. We're excited to bring you another episode. Of course, as we get closer to the Winter Olympics, we have a very accomplished guest on today. We're excited to bring in this friend, Ken. It is Brianne McLaughlin-Bittle. Hi, Bri. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us. I think it goes without saying, Ken, that she is the better goalie in this interview, correct?
I'm not doubting that for 1 second. She's put up some amazing stats, and I've had a chance to talk to her about it. And her Olympic experience is amazing as well. And that silver medalist, Bri, is that correct? Twice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And both times up against Toronto up against Canada, is that correct as well?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, anyways, before we get a host on here, we typically tell the fans and that who's coming on, and the fans did have a question for you, and they wonder if you could spend a couple minutes talking about how great Canada is.
That question coming from the fans or from you?
The fans, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to answer.
Well, hold on here. But it's
lie through this question, or
that was definitely a Ken question. Yeah. I can confirm if you need 2 people on that.
Mercy is the answer.
We all know, but
pleading the fifth is a good call. All right, let's transition a little bit. Let's talk about your RMU career and those stats. Ken touched on it. I want to get this right. You played at RMU from 2006 to 2009. At the end of your career, you held the NCAA record with 3,809 saves out of 4,188 shots. That is unbelievable. It's good for a 910 save percentage. All right, just tell me in a nutshell kind of about that experience at RMU and how cool that was for you to have those accolades.
Yeah. I don't know how many goalie people are doing the math on that goals against average, but that's you don't have to say how many total goals either. It was fun. That was I only got recruited by really Robert Morris and Mercyhurst. And Robert Morris was a brand new program. I knew I was going to get 1 million shots a game, which is, Ken, it's a lot more fun playing when you're getting a ton of shots. So that's why I chose to go there. I was able to start something new. We didn't win a whole lot, but it was fun to just take something from scratch and see where we can go. And up until they cut the programs last year, they were a top 10 team in the country. They were always, season champs. And so that was pretty cool for me to watch and see where we started and where they were before the spring, I guess.
Yeah, you're now second overall in total saves made in D1 history for women's hockey. Does it keep you up at night sometimes? You're like, I wish I would have stopped 200 more shots. Do you still hold that record?
No, but I was texting my coach saying like, hey, if you would have played me in this game or that game, I'd still have that record.
That's great. So RMU, you already mentioned it. Obviously, program was cut, unfortunately, and created a bit of an outcry, of course, in Pittsburgh. Individuals like yourself who still very connected. We'll get into that. Ryan Malone, who's somebody that you're, of course, connected with. It was cut for financial issues, but of course the city rallied behind it. What does it mean that it's back to you, and talk about the support from the city?
I have spent about half of my life with Robert Morris Hockey. I moved out here in 2005. My husband started the program on the men's side in 2004. So both of us have been super connected. I finished that last year coaching with the men, and he was coaching for the women. So we both played and coached on both sides of it. So it's been a huge part of our life. And then to hear the news that it was cut was just like, man, like when you spend that much time doing something and you're proud of it, and it's something that's good in the community for the community, and then also the athletes that are playing, and then to not have it there. That's when we just rallied together, and we knew what it meant to us and what it meant to Pittsburgh. And it was just a wrong that needed to be right. So,
Ken, I'm sure you can agree with that. Obviously, you've had big connection with individuals like Brian Malone, who we've had on the show, in support of RMU hockey, even events at 31 Sports Bar and Grill.
No, that's exactly right. And what Brianne has done, and her family, her husband, and Ryan as well, is bring awareness through an unfortunate circumstance with RMU. But they're bringing the program from its inception, and Brie, you're exactly right in doing the math. And it takes a special person to come in, because you get a lot of shots, and you're blazing that trail, I guess, for future seasons, things up and coming. So it's not easy to do. And what they're doing with the hockey programs and keeping that flowing and going here in Pittsburgh is tremendous. We need that. And here at 31, we're happy we can help out with that and help promote hockey, because it's near and dear to all of our hearts that they're listening right now and participating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ryan's been great.
Today. Go ahead, Brie. I'm sorry.
I'm not even a math person. So yeah, that was great to have it. When it first started and we started the foundation, it was just a bunch of alumni that wanted to see the teams back, and then some big community supporters that we just came together and what can we do? And to have Ryan jump in was really nice towards the end. He doesn't have a connection to Robert Morris, but he knows as much as anybody growing up here how important it is to have something like that right in front of little kids' eyes. And after 2010 making the national team, you're just automatically put in this situation to be a role model for little kids. And it's something I love doing. I'm proud of it. I think it's fun to see these kids that they want to be. I want to play college hockey, or I want to go to the Olympics, and to be able to sit down and have a real conversation with them about what that means and how to get there. And hockey has just paved like every corner of my life, whether it was keeping me out of trouble or keeping me on path and giving me goals and a reason to do good in school. And there's so many things that you can piece together that's just important for kids. So to have a men and women's college program, how many people can make the NHL or the Olympics, but that pool gets even a little bit bigger with college hockey. So to have kids have that right in front of their face and be able to go to the games and meet the players, have the players go out and skate with them. It's huge for little kids.
I think everybody in the 412 can echo those sentiments. We're happy to have those wrongs righted, no question about it. You're watching the Ken Wregget and Friends show, brought to you by yinzercrazy.com. And of course, the Yins Are Crazy podcast as well. Make sure you subscribe to us over on YouTube. Just type in Yins Are Crazy. We are with Brianne McLaughlin-Bittle, one of the most accomplished goalies in history of hockey. I don't think that's too steep of a limb to be on. But I want to keep talking about RMU, allow you to talk a little bit about the things that you're still doing with them. I know you run some camps, right? Some all-female camps, which is just incredible. Talk about what you kind of have coming up in that regard.
Yeah, when I got back from 2014 Olympics, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Do I want to keep playing? Do I want to just start my life and get a real job? And I started coaching a U10 team for the Pens Elite, and sitting down with the parents on the tournaments, they're going, there's all these camps for boys, and my daughter's fine doing the boys stuff, but it would be really, really nice if there was a place for them to be and just be all girls and just feel that, because there's certain girls that are fine jumping in with the boys, and there's certain girls that aren't. They'd rather be surrounded by other girls. And I don't know what that's like. I grew up playing hockey in Cleveland. I was the only girl in the entire organization, let alone on my team. So I was like, all right, well, I'll grab some ice. And I started my very first McLaughlin Hockey all-girls hockey camp. We had, I think, 22 girls, which was basically my team, and a couple extra kids. And last year we had, I think, 76 girls. There was Pittsburgh girls. We had a girl from Utah and Cleveland and West Virginia, all over the place. So, my staff, I have the same staff every year, and it's something we're really proud of, that we've been able to grow, as a company, but then also it's a testament to how hockey is growing in Pittsburgh, and especially on the girls' side.
And they can check that out on your website, right, Bri?
Yep. There's a link on there. I think my youngest last year was 5, and then we went all the way to 14. So it's a pretty,
cool.
We had to split them up a couple years ago into groups.
Nice.
But
we'll put the link on the show, no questions, so you guys can check that out and get involved, of course. All right, let's transition to kind of what's on everybody's mind at this point. The Winter Olympics, we're so happy to have them back. Of course, after a little bit of a layoff due to the pandemic. You had 2 experiences already that Ken mentioned. 2010, of course, was in Canada, and Ken is quite familiar. And 2014 was, of course, over in Sochi. You were there as a goalie, 2 silver medals. Just in broad terms, tell me about those experiences.
Very broad. They were so different. 2010 was, I just made the team that year. So I went from college hockey. I thought I was done. I hung it up for a couple months, and they called and said, we might need an extra goalie for tryouts. So maybe start skating again, because if we call up one more player, it'll be you. So I started skating. I played like the best hockey of my life. I was able to earn that 3rd spot and go. And that whole year was just me learning what it's like to have a USA on my chest and to travel around and represent girls hockey in our country. And it was weird. You're a girls hockey player, and at that point, nobody really cared about girls hockey. But then all of a sudden you're on this bigger stage and people are at your games. They know who you are. And it's just such a different, exciting experience. And as a rookie, I know I didn't have any responsibility as far as actually playing in the net unless they needed to. So I just got to enjoy the year. And we lost, but it didn't seem like, to me, not really I wasn't playing, I was just learning about this experience and enjoying the Olympics. And I'm sitting there going, we have an Olympic medal. How cool is this? But every other player in the locker room, that was something that they've been on the team for so long. There was one girl on the team that was chasing this gold medal for 16 years. It's like, that's a different feeling, losing that game when you've been wanting it for 16 years versus a player like myself that just joined the team and was excited about getting an Olympic medal and bringing it home to my hometown and sharing it with the kids. So the next one was a little different. Then I got a taste of what those 3.5 years are like, the time commitment and the training that it takes. And I went to 3 world championships. We won 2 golds and a silver. And that was really when I got to see what this is all about and what it means to these girls, and that rivalry, that US-Canada, like, man, we could be friends outside, but the second they drop that puck, you've never seen like competitiveness out of a group of females than those 2 teams. It's incredible to watch. And then to lose that game, I don't know if you remember watching it, but we were winning the whole game. They tied it up with 30 seconds. We hit the post in overtime. Like there was just so many things that said we were going to win that game, and then we didn't. So there was a brief time where it was the most devastating couple of weeks of my life. But once that wore away, and just the Olympics are such a cool time. You hear so many cool stories, and it's another medal that I get to share with everybody. And it's a big part of my life that I'm proud of. And it's really put my life on track to where I am now, being able to do those two things.
Big part of U.S. hockey history. There's no question about it. Where do you have those medals?
I don't know. I should
Ken, did you steal them?
No, I gave them to my dad. My dad wanted to show somebody, one of his friends or something.
Awesome.
So he's had them. He's not the most responsible person, so I should probably check in with him to see where those are.
Were the dorm rooms all they're cracked up to be?
As far as like
the Olympic experience, I always hear about like, all right, everybody is kind of clustered together in these dorm rooms that are like not the most glamorous. Is that a tale, or is that reality?
The dorm rooms are awesome, actually. I know Sochi especially got a bad rap for things not being finished or whatever, and I think that was the case for like fans and media. But our village was an amusement park. Like there was actual roller coasters in the park. It was really, really cool. It was beautiful. So I don't have any bad things to say about the actual accommodations at the Olympics. It's really neat. There's like one dining hall. I think like every country has a building, but US and Canada and maybe one other one. There's so many athletes that we got our own building instead of like a floor or something like that. Which was cool because you can just go down to other floors and there'd be the men's team or the figure skaters, and we got to make friends with each other. And then once we were already done, we got to go out partying together, and we made lifelong friends. And some of them are still competing, so I'm excited to watch them in this one. Our event goes so long, I can't really speak to the craziness of the village, because we didn't go to opening ceremony in 2014 because we had a game in the morning. It's just a long day. Like you're on your feet all day long. Mm-hmm. So we didn't go. And then our gold medal game, I think, was the day before closing ceremony. So we didn't have a whole lot of extracurriculars to do in either one of the Olympics, because it was like, game time the whole 2 weeks.
Yeah. So are you going to Beijing?
I was supposed to. I've been the goalie coach for the national team for the last 2 years. We did residency out in Minnesota. So we would move out there October 1st and then train together for that, 5-6 months leading up to the Olympics. But with all this COVID, everything, I was all packed up, ready to go. And then they made a whole slew of new rules for it. So I wasn't able to make that work. We got two little ones. It was too crazy. They made a rule if you test positive there, it's like a 5-week quarantine in China. So I'm not sure. My kids would have been orphans if that happened. So I unfortunately had to be watching from the couch, but
yeah, not so bad after all. Especially obviously in colder weather and without the travel and the restrictions. I think I know somebody who could be worthy of an assistant coach fill-in position. Ken?
Yes. In China?
Want to go coach the girls?
That would be interesting, no doubt. But that 5-week quarantine would be a little bit on the tough side, I think.
Yeah, of course. I kind of want to leave it on this note. Obviously, this is something that's near and dear to both of you. Bree, I'll kind of let you touch on it first because I'm still learning about it a bit. But the Pittsburgh College Hockey Foundation. Tell me what you're doing with that. I think you started it, correct? Mm-hmm. And what does it entail?
Well, I mentioned earlier, it was just a handful of us alumni and some community supporters that really wanted to do something. And when the teams first got cut, it was really unclear on what the actual issue was. And we just assumed fundraising. Hockey it's super expensive. And I know it's expensive to run. So we all just there was a time crunch. We had to do as much as possible in as little amount of time as possible. So it was a little bit crazy at first. We were just running around doing all these events and trying to raise money and bring in donors, and the rat race paid off, and we're able to reinstate the teams. But now we had a couple weeks to just really digest. It was the longest, from May to whatever that was, December. It was a lot of work, and we had the celebrity hockey game at Lemieux. It was really neat. I don't know if any of you were there, but Brett Kiesel and Colby Armstrong, like old Penguins and Steelers, they all played. Walker, baseball player, and like everybody. It was fun to see them enjoying hockey, but then to really see what these teams meant to people that didn't even go to Robert Morris. They just know how important it is to have hockey in the area. So we put together all those things. There was some trial and error, and now we're just restructuring. How do we make this a little more organized, and working with the school on how to make sure that these teams are always there, they're always funded, and they have any kind of extra things that they'll ever need to be successful. They were, some of the best teams in the country, and now they have to start all over again. And being a part of that all over again starter team is, we know what it's like. My husband and I both know what that's like and where we started, which is cool for restarting because we've already been there, but we also know how much work that is. So we're hoping having the foundation there will just make that process a little easier, smoother, give them anything that they need, that they think are going to be able, whether it's recruiting resources or training, whatever it is. So we're really just there supporting the teams in the school, and we're going to be putting on a couple new events. We got the inline tournament with you guys. They're going to do the celebrity game again. Ryan would love to get his bubble hockey tournament going again. So everybody's got a million ideas. We're just meeting on a weekly basis, trying to figure out what's the best course of action at the moment.
So much great work in the community here in Pittsburgh. It is certainly commendable stuff. We're talking with Brianne McLaughlin-Bittle on the Ken Wregget and Friends show. And Bri, all right, lastly, I did my research. I saw on Twitter that you posted for your son's 3rd birthday, he wanted hot dogs. Is that correct? Where does that rank in your greatest achievements?
It's right up there with the moment I saw him skate for the first time. The pride. I was just beaming.
That's wonderful. I think you just made everybody really hungry for hot dogs for sure. We hope he had an excellent birthday. All right, it's been like 20 minutes and it's been a terrific show. Did anything come to mind about saying something awesome about Canada?
Well, I've had about 15 years to think about it, and I still can't really come up with anything.
That's not true. She did say she liked partying with the Canadians when she's at Olympic Park. So there is a fondness there, and I'll take that. Thank you.
Let's get a McLaughlin-Bittle jersey behind Ken or at 31 Sports Bar and Grill at some point.
Yeah,
right, Ken?
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Great stuff. Well, we wish you. Yeah, I love it. We'll replace the Wregget one with that if we can get our hands on it. Sure. And hopefully you find those Olympic medals. No, I'm just kidding. It's been an absolute pleasure. I know Ken and Nicole, who helped set this up, we're so excited to have you on the show. You're certainly a star and an icon in Pittsburgh and doing a lot of great work for the community as well. Enjoy watching the Olympics and hanging out with those kids and maybe eating some more hot dogs.
Always. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bri.
I know yins are crazy, but so am I. #1 sports site in the burg, let me show you why. The latest